going to go ahead and start the show opener. All right, welcome everyone to the new SMA Live. We got our brand new spanking intro right there. Big thank you out to our own Nick from SMA Live. Nick, thank you for slaving away, probably no doubt hungover on Sunday morning to get that intro. It looks really cool. I hope everybody liked it. Jamie's back. Jamie, welcome back.
I'm back. Hey, it's good to be back. I'm absolutely mesmerized by that intro. I feel like we have a professional show going on or something, but hey, it's a nice Sunday night. A lot of things have been happening in my life. As you can tell, the pill count in my house has increased about tenfold.
Look at that.
Which means I am now cohabitating with a lovely young lady, which also means there's food in my kitchen and fridge, which is amazing.
So not cold air and beer.
Happening over here.
just not cold air and beer. That's amazing. I'm glad to hear that. You know, there were rumors that you were gone. There was all sorts of rumors. A lot of them not true, although entertaining. But hey, you're here. You gained a bunch of pillows. This is great.
Yeah, I'm turning over a new leaf, if you will. The bachelor pad is gone for now. So
this is pretty cool. All right, Emily's complaining she can't hear Jamie, so I'm gonna pump you up a little bit. There we go. Testing 1 2. There you go. There you go. See, everything's great. Oh, we're going to go ahead and begin the show as we do with a couple of headlines. As most of you should have seen last night, the night before on Friday night on Bellator Kickboxing, we saw Sport Karate's own Raymond Daniels get another spectacular first round liver kick knockout. It's, check your local listings. I think it's on his page. The fight went that long, so you can definitely see it. Reyes just doing his thing out there, and I really wonder what would have happened if the ref wouldn't got in and he would have thrown that tornado kick.
It looked like he was about ready to connect with it, but he was already bent over and trying to get out of the way. The cool thing I thought was he had GSP in his corner, and he was his main training partner for that entire that camp.
Yeah, he's been hanging out at TriStar, which is great. I know Ray was up there helping Roy McDonald try to emulate Wonderboy, who also won his match, and Wonderboy, another former SMA Live guest who's now the #1 contender for the welterweight title for the UFC. We get to see what happens with Tyron Woodley and Robbie Lawler to see who he's going to face and when that's going to be. But Ray's been doing a lot of work at TriStar. He said GSP came down to school, which is real cool, and helped him with this. You can't really argue with the results. He did another phenomenal job. Got another highlight reel knockout. Smiling and waving to the crowd. You got to love the guy. He's doing his thing out there. People are loving him, and they're talking title shot, which is good.
He had the one guy he couldn't beat in Glory, but, I think people have been trying to emulate that style where they just kind of go in, try and corner him, and that just doesn't work all the time. So he showed that once again last night.
That is absolutely.
Or Friday night, I should say. Yeah.
That is absolutely true. A lot of success to him, and speaking of success, we're coming right off of this year's Battle of Atlanta, and I really have to tip my hat to Greg Ruth and company. That they did an amazing job. I was there for that event. It ran smooth, a couple of bumps and bruises, but the team that Greg has put together, he's asking for feedback. What you didn't like about the battle, what can we do better? It ran smooth. Friday night, you had a lot of good team action. It was great. I can't wait to see what they have for 2017. So good job, Battle of Atlanta. And also on tonight's show, we're going to have Alex Reyes and Ryan P. George, who made a big splash as Team WKF for this event, for the result they had for the team fight. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can get Alex on the line right now. I'll go ahead and put up our upcoming SMA events. So take a look at those while I try to get Mr. Reyes on the phone right now. He gave me an exclusive secret number to call him at, so.
Oh boy. Maybe it's his hotline into his Point Fighter radio show.
I think it might be. So this is going to be the first crossover from Point Fighter Radio and SMA Live. This should be interesting. Let's see, dialing up the magic number right now. and I wonder if he's going to answer the phone with power. We'll see.
The number you dialed is disconnected.
Oh.
I
Nope.
don't know.
Wrong number. That's my fault. Hold on. That is my fault. Wrong number dial. Number lock is off. There we go. That'll help out. Sorry for the technical difficulties, folks. It's summer. We're working hard to get for Mr. Reyes on the phone right now. Let's see. I'm confirming the number right now. That looks like it is it. So let's try again. Oh, there we go.
Hey, power, baby.
I told you he was going to open up with power. Welcome to the show, Mr. Alex Reyes. How are you doing, sir?
Great, guys. Thanks for having me on. You guys are great. It's a privilege to be on. Thanks.
Well, we have been waiting for a while to get you on the show, Alex, and congratulations are in order. Exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about Team WKF. It's been the talk for a week for the performance of the Battle of Atlanta. Alex, tell us what you were thinking, because you were watching it on the stream. I can't imagine you sitting down and watching this, but go ahead and give me how you discovered this, how you were watching in your words.
Well, first, let me take you to the beginning. I talked to the team formed, because at the beginning, on Monday, Ryan was training with Josh, and accidentally hit Josh with a kick to the jaw, and it broke Josh Forward's jaw. So Josh right now is wearing a wire, and he's out for the season. So that knocked out, a starter of the team. So, that's crazy. And then I had another player, Andres Christopher, who was supposed to go to the event, and he had a problem. So then, I'm here with only with Ryan and Jim. So I needed to find a third right away, So I posted it up, and I started getting messages from fighters saying that they'll fill in. And then my best choice was to go with Chris. So he did a great job filling in. And as far as watching a live stream, man, it was great. But something inside me as I was watching, told me that they were going to win. Like, I just had a special feeling as they were fighting, and I just knew they were going to pull it out.
Well, one thing, if you would, tell us about Mr. Christopher Robbins. He's a guy that I've seen and most definitely heard around from Willie Hicks School. He's got a number of different phrases that if you're around, you've heard. Bow to your sensei, headache, etc., etc. He's a great fighter. I mean, he's what made you go to Chris?
Man, I saw him fight Jim Haymore at Pan Am's, and he fought him really good. I saw him take at Pan Am's as well, the 30 to 39 heavyweight division, and I saw that he won the Super Grands as well. So I already knew he was pretty good. So I just went ahead and I was like, okay, that's the best option. And as well, he has chemistry with Ryan, because Ryan trains with Wade and stuff. So I just figured he would be the best option right there to fill in.
It was an interesting bit of strategy, and for all the videos, you can go to our YouTube page at sportmartialarts.com and see our Battle of Atlanta videos, which are filling in this week. The first match of the first JPM team that he beat, I kind of questioned the ability of sending Chris out against Justin Ortiz first, but it was kind of a stalemate, which is kind of what you wanted. That kind of played to your advantage right there. Was with you being at home, Alex, who's calling the strings or calling the shots for the team in Atlanta?
Well, they all called me and they told me what they were thinking, and I was like, okay, go with it, but they basically made the matchups, and then I just was like, okay, let's do it, however you guys feel, let's go with it, and if there's any changes to the, the coin toss, go with how you feel, so they just went with the flow and it worked out. And as far as Chris and Justin, that was a good matchup because Justin usually when he fights, he's a counter fighter, he's a counter kicker, and so he's a good guy to keep it close if you just move on him.
Good, Jamie. It looks like you got a.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. So Alex, your team beat JPM, and then you had to beat JPM again. So that was 2 JPM wins in one night. How did that feel? And I might have a trick question for you. Do you remember the last time a team beat 2 JPM teams in one tournament in one night?
Well, the last time I saw 2 JPM teams, actually we fought, like me, my brother, and Gus Calero fought 2 JPM teams, and we beat one of them, and then we lost in the finals to the other team, and that was like back in like 1996 or 97, I believe. So, usually before with JPM, back in the day, you didn't have to have just 3 players. They would line up with like 7 or 8, and they'll just send out whoever they wanted.
Yeah, I'm sure that caused quite a few fights, but that was kind of a trick question. I'm giving a shout out to my 2006 Team NK team who took 2 JPM teams down to Diamond Nationals. But besides that, you're the only person who's given me a karate nickname, which is, in case people don't know, I've been named the Weasel by Mr. Alex Reyes. Do you got any nicknames for the rest of your teammates?
That's a good question.
For the rest of, not really, man. I really, I mean, I have people that I compare them to, but like celebrity lookalikes, but not really any nicknames. But that's a good idea,
Well,
but yeah, Weasel is one of my all-time, that's one of the best ones right there, Weasel.
Well, Alex, I do have a question that was phoned in by someone close to us. How excited were you when you did see the result of the second team fight? Because I remember I sent you a text, and I hadn't thought that. I think I might have just spoiled it for this guy because it seems like you're running a little bit behind in terms of being live and watching it. But how excited were you? Were you kicking over furniture? Were there holes punched in walls? What exactly was the scene when you saw that final point by Ryan?
I was actually in the mall here in Miami.
This is going to be good.
I just started running around and just going, ooh, and then, I saw my dad run up on the stage, and he called me like up there too, and I just saw him up there, just being wild, but it was just great. But it's crazy. Something inside me knew that they were gonna pull it off, and especially Ryan, because Ryan, the last few years he's been in college, so he's been like pretty much out of town and not training. But he finished he finished school recently, and he's been really training. So I think this is just the beginning of what you're gonna see with Ryan George.
He's definitely someone that I've been watching the past couple years. Really incredibly nice guy, great fighter, and actually our next guest. We're gonna talk to him and see how things are going for him. I think he's actually traveling on the way back from a tournament right now, so we're gonna be talking to him next. Where's the next place we're gonna see a full WKF team at, Alex?
The next event is gonna be Dixieland. But we're trying to set something up maybe for the U.S. Open. That's still up in there. But Dixieland for sure, it's one of my favorite events that we go to every year. It's a great place. So, make sure if you guys are listening, make sure you check that out because it has a beach, great venue, great location. And this year they got you guys out there, so
That's right.
that's even better, even more coverage. So
That
make
is.
sure you guys check that out. WKF is going to be there. We won it last year, actually. So that's the next event we're hitting, full blast. We're also going to be at HIT. Ryan has a set fight with Leo, so that's going to be good.
That should be.
So,
that should be.
We're being pretty active.
Well, we certainly look forward to seeing you guys out there again soon. And of course, we would not be remiss if we were to not plug the wonderful show that you did before ours. Thank you for letting us share your Sunday with you for Point Fighter Radio. All the latest news results, definitely rumors, hosted by the gentleman on the line right now, Alex Reyes. It's a great show. You can call and talk in, discuss things, and you will hear power. You will hear excitement. There's never a dull show. I have a feeling that you never sit down doing that show, Alex. Your blood pressure has to be up while you're doing it because you bring a lot of enthusiasm doing the show, and it's definitely a great way to get a lot of information out to the sport martial arts community. We certainly appreciate you being a guest on the show of SMA Live today, Alex. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Go ahead and lead us on out with what are the wonderful words of advice you have for us.
Okay, listen, everybody, I want to send a shout out to Jason Chan, ASG. This man, we're going through history right now. He has 7 teams. Okay, he's one of the first gear companies to sponsor, and put money out there and give back. And now we got Century, Hayabusa, top 10 in the U.S. So, the sport is thriving. We got a bunch of sponsored teams. So, I like to think that he's one of the ones that started that. So make sure you support ASG, allstargear.net.
Well, Alex, we certainly...
Power,
of course. We certainly appreciate it, Alex. Thank you very much. Once again, Point Fighter Radio every Sunday. Check the time. Check the Point Fighter Radio page to see who Alex is going to have on. We're going to go ahead and get your teammate, Ryan P. George, on the line. Alex, have a good Sunday. We'll see you soon.
All right, take care.
Alrighty. The one and only, one of a kind, Alex Reyes. You know what?
I just don't know.
If you haven't seen Alex in action, there's never a dull moment with him. Both him and his brother Manny, I've actually competed against those guys, over and over. They always bring it. They always have excitement. And speaking of just a future plug, his dad's tournament, which is in Miami, is a great event. We cover that as well. Great time to go into Miami in November. Just beautiful right there on South Beach. Great. But while we have you in line, Jamie, I'm going to go ahead and let you tell us about our upcoming SMA events that we have.
You got it, my man. Well, we got the big one coming up in a couple weeks here. I've got my tickets booked. I even got my kid coming with me. It's July 8th and 9th at the U.S. Open and the Disney Coronado Springs Resort. Hey, this one's going to be live on ESPN2 and ESPN3, so a lot of coverage there. No need for the SMA Live, I suppose, or SMA TV, I should say. So that's coming up soon in a couple weeks. I'm sure you've already got your tickets booked for that. Besides that, August 5th, we got the Dixieland Nationals, which Alex had just mentioned. We'll be there covering it as well, and with live coverage for the underbelt and black belt finals for that one. The U.S. Capitol Classics, August 12th, National Harbor, Maryland. I believe that's Dennis Brown's tournament.
That is correct. That is Dennis Brown's tournament. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so just if you have the chance, go on Netflix, check out the Black Kung Fu Experience. There's plenty of action from him on that one.
That's right. He's in that.
Yeah, we'll also be covering the underbelt and black belt finals on SMA TV as well, and then they got $50K in prizes. All right, so that's a big one. September 23rd, we got the Twin Tower Classic in New York. That's also going to be live on SMA TV. And then I'm looking forward to the Diamond Nationals, YOS, my hometown, put on by the National Karate Schools, which I'm a part of. So that's October 7th. Get ready for that one.
Perfect. As always, we're going to step aside for a quick message from Hayabusa Martial Arts. We've got lovely jackets from these guys, so we're going to run a credit with a guy you might have seen before at GSP. Be back in just about 30 seconds with Mr. George on the line. right, let's go ahead and see if we can get Mr. George on the line. Stand by 1 second. Again, I think he was out of the tournament today, so let me go ahead and get him on the line. 1 second here. This ought to be very interesting. All right, 1 second. Dialing in to WKF's own Ryan P. George.
I'm sure he's still riding the buzz from the Battle of Atlanta.
Oh, it's definitely, and actually he tells me right now in the recent text that he is actually riding a bus. So let's see what we get.
Yeah, hello?
Mr. George, welcome to SMA Live. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How you doing, man? What's up, Jamie? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Ryan?
I'm good, man. Just literally just made it back to New Orleans. About to get off the mega bus with a bunch of our kids and some parents that we have to go down the Yellow Rose. Just made it back, so I'm trying to hope I can make it all. Somebody start talking. It's not on background, but I'll do it today.
All right. Well, how speaking of the Yellow Rose, how was it today?
Oh, no, it was great, man. It was a great tournament. Willie Hicks ended up taking over. He got me by the last point. I guess I ain't had that last second mojo like I had last week in that sudden death matches. But we ended up winning teams for him and everything. But it was a great tournament, big event. Everybody was there. It had a few different countries there in the building. Kids from all over. Had a couple black belt fighters in the building, a couple teams. So it was great.
That is, I've heard that's a pretty good event, and I'm glad you went there and definitely had a good tournament day. Now we know that actually what's playing right now is a replay of the fight from last week in the Battle of Atlanta, in which you guys took on two high-powered John Paul Mitchell teams, and you won both fight. You anchored both teams, and you won in sudden victory both times. Can you take us back a week ago and tell us about what you're thinking about? You're coming in anchoring this team. It's been about one of the most talked about teams that has come about for sport karate, especially for the Hungarian invasion we got.
Man, I have to apologize to you, man. I'm walking in this terminal like I'm about to make it to the door in 5 seconds. Give me 5 seconds. I apologize.
No problem.
I feel bad about that. Yeah.
What we have.
Breaking up and I can't really hear what you're saying.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do a little filler real quick. Ryan is actually on his way back from the Yellow Rose. He is making his way through the bus terminal, so it's a little bit noisy right now. So we're going to just do a little bit of filler real quick while he's waiting to get to a better area to hear, and also hopefully we'll have a little bit of lower background noise from him. So bear with us just for a second, folks. If you haven't seen this great fight, all right, you think you're in a better area there, Ryan?
I'm walking inside right now. Give me 1 second.
All right, 1 second. Sorry for the technical difficulties, folks. When you're dealing with cellular technology, you know how it is when you get that call and it starts to fade a little bit. So we'll just give Mr. George just a few seconds.
All right, I'm back, brother. I appreciate y'all waiting. I'm sorry about that, guys.
That is no problem. Sometimes things are out of your control, but we're back. We're good to go. Let's see here. I think your audio, Jamie, you got Ryan loud and clear?
Oh, yeah, I got you loud and clear. Mallory, you were dropping in and out a little bit, but...
All right. Let's see if we can work with that. Ryan, what I was asking you before is, the last week, if you can take me back, you ran anchor for both teams for WKF, and you're coming in against a highly touted Hungarian John Paul Mitchell team. What was your thought when you're coming to the line, and it's pretty much all on you at this point for fight number one?
Fight number one, I knew I told you in the other interview, man, it was just patience. But I ain't gonna lie, you always have the nerves in you. You know, if you don't have nerves, that's when you really got the problems. But I fought Laszlo earlier that day. My team put me in a good position where I wasn't too far behind, and I could just, come in and I could actually fight like a 0-0 fight, basically. I was down a few, but, you got 2 full minutes to make something happen. So I tied it up pretty quick, and I was able to, I had a lot of time to play with, and it was basically a 0-0 fight. He beat me earlier in division, and I knew I couldn't let him do what he did earlier. He kind of let me kick myself out the entire fight, so I slowed it down a bit. It was more so just make sure I fought my fight and didn't allow him to suck me into fighting what he wanted me to do. So that's basically my thought process leading up to the fight.
So when you were going into that, you're tied up, or do you have like a specific technique, your go-to or something like that, or is it just on the fly when it comes to you?
To be honest, I'm not going to say, well, everybody's bread and butter. When it's tied up, everybody bread and butter is to just blitz. So my idea was to not allow him to blitz me. That was first. So I had to make sure I opened up a gap. But I hit it with a little switch. I trained that with my kids. A lot of people, they get on to me when I first got to NASCAR. Everybody yelled at me every time I switch sides. I mean, you're going to get scored on regardless, but sometimes when I switch, I do score points. They don't say anything then, but they get, a few people get mad at me when I switch, but it worked in that case. I switched sides. I didn't see my opening at that time, and I switched back and just took off right away. It paid off in the long run.
So what was the name of that trick that you performed at the end of the victory there?
Jamie just saw that.
Call that the super Ryan McTwist. I made that one up myself. Don't nobody else do that trick on a NASCAR stage ever. That was just me.
Not a lot of fighters can pull that off, man. That was quite amazing. Do you have a gymnastics background?
Yes, actually, I do. I was a cheerleader. I went to college. That's when I went to college. I cheered in college, and I did forms and everything. I got a few double grands under my belt at some local tournaments and all. I won at Jam All one year. I did a double grands at Jam All, and I do the forms every now and then. But lately, I've just been focusing on my fighting, and just homing it in. But I've been getting back to, well, not back to forms per se, but just doing the tricks and stuff so I don't lose it. Once it's gone, it's gonna be hard getting it all back. So I try to keep my skill level up the best that I can.
Now most people will hear like, oh, cheerleading. Well, tell them how hard it is to lift those girls up, man. And hold them.
It's hard, man. It's hard. You got to get the technique down, man. Once you get it and you get comfortable doing it, it definitely gets a little easier. But it is complicated, especially when you, I don't know if that's the female, we call them the pound cakes. But you get a few of those, everybody want to go up, and you have a little. They're heavy. Some of them be heavy. I'm gonna just say that.
You got to be honest.
It gets easier as you get better.
That is absolutely true. Hey, look, actually I did some of that in college myself, and it is harder than it looks. You have to have the technique down right, and like you said, sometimes people put on a few pounds, man. It's tough, and they like to wiggle, and then they fall and they blame you and all that other stuff. But what
and everybody want to do the same thing that the little girls do. So
you got to get in where you fit in at. Ryan, what did you major in college?
Pre-physical therapy is my major, man. So it's a health and exercise science degree, and with a concentration in pre-physical therapy.
That sounds like a lot of science and math to me. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it was. I went to sport route with the health and exercise science, so I was able to cut a few corners on some of those science classes, but I still ended up having to take them in the long run. But it was a tough time, tough challenging time, but I done made it through finally, and I'm just at home now. I moved back to New Orleans. I'm just doing an internship for the entire next semester, and I'll be graduating December. So the whole karate world will be invited. I'm putting it out there right now. Everybody, if y'all want to come, just show up, and we're going to all party. And I'm from New Orleans, man. The second line going and everything. Cross this ball on me.
Hey, that sounds like it's going to be a great time. I've never been to New Orleans, so I might have to take you up on that.
Oh, no, definitely.
Well, are you planning to go to the U.S. Open?
Depending on what coach got going on, it is next week, and if he send me some info on it like immediately, like I'm always down to go. But to be honest with you, I've been telling people this all week. I had moved home a month ago, and I've probably been home a total of 5 days. Mm-hmm. Like within that month, but that's like on separate days, like 2-day stretches. That this weekend going to the Yellow Rose was the first time I actually changed the clothes that was in my bag. I was washing them in different locations, but I never changed them. And until this weekend going to Yellow Rose, so I wouldn't mind having a weekend off. But you know, if he put the call, then I'm going. You know what I mean? So I don't mind.
The struggle is real, man. I'm telling you, it's definitely real. We're gonna get you a couple more questions in, and I know it's been a long weekend for you, a long 2 weeks, so we're gonna let you go. How was it? Were you guys able to form an instant chemistry, you and Chris and Jim? I know that the normal player is Josh, but as Alex mentioned earlier, he was out with a wired jaw. You know what, man? I tell you what, I got to say this about Josh. Josh had a wired jaw, but the guy is still smiling. He's awesome to be around. He's a wonderful influence. But how was it that you guys were able to get, you know, this chemistry seemingly right then and there from Friday and Saturday night?
Oh man, Chris, he's great, man. He's great. He is the definition of a team player. Mm-hmm. If like you need somebody to stand in your corner, he's definitely one of those guys who's gonna get you pumped up and riled up. And he, like, if you don't have chemistry with him, he's gonna make it for you. So, like me already knowing him and you know, being around him with being around Willie. And, you know, I trained with them the week before, with both of the guys a week before. And actually, Chris was giving me pointers on stuff, you know, telling me, hey, yo, you should probably do this. So, you know, but he's a great dude. Jim already likes him. You know, Jim fought him before, and he likes the way he gets riled up. He says he could be, you know, that heated, that guy. Like, well, you can't, but nobody gonna be able to recreate that. I don't know how Chris does it. He don't care. He really don't care. But but like the chemistry just was there immediately. Once we decided to team up, we sat there, we warmed up together. We sat next to each other the whole time before teams, and then for the night finals, we sat by each other the entire time. We prayed before we went on stage, and it was just, you know, it was just a great experience. So.
Well, I mean, definitely it shows you guys were able to beat what was really kind of supposed to be John Paul Mitchell's coming out party for the new team of, you know, the Karilli fighters that they had. You guys look like you kept your head cool and calm, and we know we definitely will see you at Dixieland Nationals. I'm hoping we get to see you next week at the U.S. Open, Ryan. I certainly appreciate you taking a few minutes and on a bus, you know, after a tournament, coming up to talk to us. We look forward to seeing you and many other victories very soon.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Thank you, Ryan. Have a good Sunday,
Shout
bro.
out to the whole WKF team. I apologize about that. Shout out to the whole WKF team. Shout out to the whole Future Kick Martial Arts and Fitness in New Orleans, Louisiana. Just had to say that.
No problem, man. You are the man. Thank you very much, and we will see you soon.
All right, thank you very much. You as well.
All right. The sensational Ryan P. George right there. If you guys haven't watched both of those fights, you really got to see him. It was down to the wire, nail biting. It was one of the most exciting ends into a team event that I've ever seen. Go watch it on our YouTube page. Definitely check our. It might still be scrolling down at the bottom of our SMA page to see if you can see the live stream, to see it as it happened. Well, Jamie, I promised you a half hour. Boom, we're in and out in a half hour. Go watch Game of Thrones. Go watch Copa America. Whatever you guys going to do on a Sunday night. Don't forget the U.S. Open is coming up. We probably will have a show next week to preview the U.S. Open, which is going to be a massive event. And just get ready for that. By the way, Brooklyn will be with me as well. So I'm looking forward to the U.S. Open and bringing my kid there and having a little fun there with her as well. So it's going to be a good time.
We're going to hit up the water slide and all the parks. That's fantastic.
It's going to be a pretty good time. All right, guys, thanks for spending a part of your Sunday with us. Definitely check our page for all the latest news of tournament, breaking tournament news. Everything's coming on. Don't forget to subscribe to our Instagram, our Twitter. So much social media stuff that's going on right now. And thanks again to Nick, who is listening right now, sending bad text to us about the great show open. Guys, we'll see you soon. For my partner, Jamie, I'm Mallory Woods. We'll see you at U.S. Open soon, but next week for another SMA show. Have a good night, guys.
Vámonos.